Welcome, everyone. So, when we first launched the TMA Talk Show, I think the vision was simple and personal. We wanted to create a space by and for trademark administrators where we could share experiences, lessons learned, celebrate the sometimes invisible work that keeps brands strong, and connect borders across the world in the spirit of community and collaboration. From day one, the mission has been to give back to the community that shaped us, to inspire new paths, to empower TMAs at every stage of their careers. I think that intention has really guided every guest invite, every run of show, and every conversation that we've had. And the season just reminded me of how broad and vibrant our community truly is. The insights, stories, practical wisdom shared have been nothing short of inspiring to me. And to the incredible behind the scenes team, thank you. You'll hear from them today, but and trust me, none of this would have happened without their dedication and hard work every month. So I think as we look ahead, our mission remains the same: to keep doing what we set out to do, to give back, to inspire, to empower TMAs, because when this community advances, brands, teams, and careers advance with it.
Welcome to the TMA Talk Show. The TMA Talk Show will take you into the heart of the TMA community, highlighting the trademark administrators as a force to be reckoned with within the intellectual property landscape. Hosted by yours truly, Emily Quackenbush, along with several surprise guest hosts, the TMA Talk Show will focus on the IP community, collaboration, and the unique contributions of each episode's special guests. This is the TMA Talk Show. Because while the rest of the world is busy building, marketing, and launching, the trademark administrator is quietly, or not so quietly, making sure you still own the name you're so proud of. Oh, and hey, of course, this goes without saying, but All Legal is a legal tech company and not a law firm. Nothing here in this episode should be considered legal advice, and this presentation expressed the views of our speakers and not necessarily those of Alt Legal, the TMAE, or the views of the hosts.
We're happy that everyone is here for our final episode of 2025. The whole TMA Talk Show team is here to go over our first year of the podcast. We've learned quite a lot. Today, we're going to chat about the highlights and the amazing administrations and get a sneak peek of the things we're looking forward to in our second year.
Thanks, Em. All right, so Jernez and I are going to take the team through each of the episodes for a quick recap of the year and get our comments and our thoughts and how it went. As you and Kara said, it's been a fun first year for the podcast team. So in episode 1, a collaboration bringing it alt together. And just a quick shout out to our amazing Bree for all of these fun punny titles that we always had. So in episode 1, Nihal and Amy discussed how recognizing the TMA's influence allowed them to transform a simple idea into an even stronger force, turning Alt Legal's business into a one-stop IP solution. This was a good episode to get us kicked off. What did you guys think?
I'm obviously really biased because that is my team. But the amazing thing about it is, despite being on the team, I didn't actually know much about sort of the birth of Assist. And I mean, we just got an announcement, hey, here's this thing, and we're doing it. But I think hearing from them about the collaboration and the way that they determined to build this thing and the ways that they work to make sure that the TMAs on our team are satisfied and productive and all of those things. I thought that was really enlightening. So I'd love to hear from those of you not working at All Legal.
So for me, I think it was sort of a full circle moment too. I think, as I said during that show, Amy was literally the one that hired me and trained me for my first trademark TMA job ever. And for her to be working with Nehal is such an amazing person, friend, and advocate for TMAs. We worked together to chair the TMA committee, and I think it's just fantastic that they're working together. And I thought it was a great episode to kick our podcast off with.
I agree. And here's a quick clip from episode 1.
TMAs can have a lot more impact than they even realize. And so, I want to encourage certainly everybody on my team, but even everybody who's listening here today to just speak up. Even if you think like you're not being heard or it's falling on deaf ears, just keep talking, just keep saying what you think and just keep putting your ideas forward. And, that because I'm hopeful that as a group, as a community, we can really, get people heard and listened to by their employers.
In episode 2, it was called Everything's Coming Up Rosa. We had guest host Vicky Arnold-Reese interviewing Rosa Jimenez about her standout year of achievements from completing her first marathon to launching INTA's TMA certificate program and securing a seat on the 2025 INTA board of directors. The one thing it's funny that I remember this episode, Em actually talked about dressing up in a Santa outfit for her family. So it's kind of it kind of goes with the theme of today of now because it's the holidays. But I wonder if anybody else remembers anything or from this episode.
Or does anybody else really, really, really want to see M dressed as Santa?
I mean, absolutely, we want to see that.
That's why I wrote it down and I remembered.
Totally. I mean, I loved this episode. I mean, one, Rosa is just so inspirational, and even Vicky at WTR is really inspiring as well. So I just felt like it was a great second episode for us. Two really inspiring women in the industry.
And I like the change we had here, how we brought in somebody else to interview our guest, and we took the featured article that she actually had. Maybe we can put in the show notes. Vicky actually interviewed Rosa at WTR, and it was a featured episode. And that actually was the brainchild of Kara. She put that out there and actually supported the feature of a TMA at the WTR feature article. And I'll just put a side note there that Rosa had mentioned dressing for success, and that's where the Santa thing came from. Haha.
I feel like I loved all the episodes, but that one as well. So Vicky, I had met at a leadership meeting and we were chatting about, I think Rosa had just won her award, the TMA of the Year award. And we were chatting about how I thought we should do a spotlight series on TMAs because I feel like it's always about the attorneys. And Vicky was so super supportive. We decided that Rosa would be the first one, and it ended up becoming a series of amazing spotlights throughout the year. But I thought it was fitting that we had Vicky and Rosa, and it was sort of like they were the guest hosts, right? So we kind of took a step back and let Vicky kind of ask the questions and stuff, which I thought was fun.
I think we just can't discount how amazing Rosa is, just in general. She's fabulous. She's also just such a light. Right? I think you know when Rosa is in the room, she's just constantly so positive and supportive and thoughtful. So yes, fabulous feature. Great job, guys.
And here's a quick clip from episode 2.
Someone next to me, a stranger, said, "If you've come this far, you can finish it." And that's exactly what I needed to hear. And, parallel to this beautiful TMA community, that's what we hear from our colleagues. You've come this far, you can't stop, just finish it.
All right, heading into episode 3, titled Branding Together in Times of Crisis, where Phil Cox and Jackie Stelling joined us to talk about their nonprofit organization, Brand Action, where they unite trademark professionals to assist people in times of crisis, showcasing impactful projects and exploring the TMA community's role in supporting their mission. This was also another great episode, guys.
I feel like Bree should say something.
I have to say, this is another place where, yes, this is another place where I am incredibly biased. As one of the founding members of Brand Action, but it's also worth noting that just like the legal episode, this one was not my idea, and this came from the fabulous volunteers Kara and Em, who work with brand action and support brand action in everything we do. And frankly, we couldn't do anywhere near all of the things that we do without wonderful volunteers like Em and Kara. And I'm a huge fan of Phil and of Jackie and of the entire brand action team, of the things that we do. I'm so proud to work on that initiative, to be part of the organization, be part of the planning team, um, and having gone a few months later, on a trip to Ukraine to support brand action and to deliver an ambulance paid for by brand action and all the brand action supporters. It was just so incredible, and everyone that I encountered on that trip was so grateful for every bit of help that we've given to them. They were so grateful to the community and thanked me as a representative of that community over and over and over again everywhere I went. So yes, definitely proud of brand action, and always love to hear about brand action and about their about the organization and about the efforts and everything. So thank you all for your efforts to promote us and for all of your support of the organization. We appreciate you.
I think that one also was really powerful, I think, in demonstrating our core values of community and collaboration, right? Because you guys literally like took members from the trademark community to create this organization to help people in need. I thought it was just fantastic.
Agree.
And let's not forget the flash mob at the event that happened at TMAP. That was fun.
Do you want to talk a little bit more about that, for those who aren't aware of the flash mob?
Yeah, sure. I can talk about that a little bit. Kara, Kristen, and Jernez actually danced in that one. I was on the sideline recording and taking pictures. So it was a lot of fun. We had an event at TMAP in, where was that? Philly? I think it was in Philly. And it was a great event. It was very well attended. Lots of friends that got together, and I think we sold out, and great food, great drinks, and a flash mob happened, and our friend Kristen choreographed it, and it was a wonderful event. And hopefully for those of you who are listening, if anyone was there, high five for joining in on that one. That was a lot of fun.
That one was also significant because that was the first brand action event that was ever done at TMAP. And that just came from, I think, a conversation Steve Cooper and I had with Phil, just like, hey, we should do something. And, he wasn't sure it would be successful. And I was like, I guarantee that it will be. They will come. And it was, and it sold
was
out.
Amazing. The video was amazing. I loved seeing it, even though I wasn't there to experience it in live. It was very amazing to watch. All right, well, here's a quick clip from episode 3.
What I would love to see happen is that TMAs within their organization sit there and say, right, we're going to do something brand actiony, we're going to champion it, and it's going to be maybe a fundraising day that's a team building exercise in essence, and it means that we can engage with the attorneys, we can engage with us, we can engage with other support staff, and do something that's good for the world. Because if we go to a bunch of people that are known doers and they get stuff done, then I think coming up is more grassroots. And I like the thought that brand action is grassroots. Mm-hmm. So to have TMAs internally saying, you know what if we do something? Then that to me would be the biggest success ever. And so that's how I would love to see it come out. Who knows?
Okay.
Over to you guys.
Consider it done, right, Kara? Our next project.
In episode 4, titled A World to the Wise, it was World IP Day. We celebrated by having Suzanne Firstel from Germany, Katie Rose from Korea, and Joyce Vargas from Ecuador chat with us about what a day in the life of a TMA is like from their parts of the world. So this was a fun one just because I think all TMAs, we have, we're kind of connected in this way, but we're even in different parts of the world. It's a little bit different, but we're all kind of connected through this community. It was kind of great to see that.
I agree. I really liked this episode because I just felt like it was just this like group of TMAs like all chatting together about, some of the amazing things that they do and how yeah, we're all connected in this community, but like so different in our experiences as TMAs around the world, which was just really cool to me.
I think also, I know one reason I wanted to do this too is just because I feel like TMAs around the world aren't always given the same support and resources, like especially within INTA, it's so US focused. So, and it's just interesting to see, the role doesn't exist in some countries and just how it's different from, North America and EU. And it was just really fun talking through everything with our guests, sharing their perspectives.
And it was really cool to see how, even though we were all from around the world, the commonality was the foundation of our jobs were actually very, very similar. So that was really neat to see. This discussion was really cool.
And here's a quick clip from episode 4.
Like when I think about the TMA community, I think of a group that just listen to you and they know what you're struggling or they know what you do. So like it's a very like supportive community, and that's what I like the most about of that. And then I just grew up into a TMA, and now I manage trademark for portfolios across Latin America. And this field has helped me to grow a lot and discover my true passion.
All right, now heading into episode 5, titled Mark My Chords, a very musical episode. We had Az Sadiq and Scott Palmer, who shared their origin story for The Opposition, a band made up all of IP professionals. They discussed its very fascinating and creative process of how they put on these productions, and our very own Kara has performed at the latest Opposition performance. So it was a fun one.
Yeah, and I was going to say this was one of my favorite ones too, just because, again, another powerful way to show how community and collaboration can form something big like The Opposition, and just the music aspect. It's always been a huge part of my life. So it was really cool to hear the story. And yeah, that kind of led to me becoming a member of the band as like a backup singer. So there's that.
That is super neat. And I also want to mention that Kara and Jernez actually went backstage at one of the performances to do a couple of live interviews. So that was really neat.
All right, and here's a clip from episode 5.
In the green room downstairs, which is the real green room at this venue, there was a calendar on the wall for all the gigs, that they had at the venue that month. And there's some great concerts, right? And, and so what you would expect in a 2,000 person venue, The Damned, They Might Be Giants, whatever, right? And so it's all these real bands. And then in the corner, it says in what was it, the 18th, Lawyer Thing. they had no,
And what a thing it was.
We'd pull anything off. They had no expectations, right? And then afterwards, it's like the folks from the venue were like, "You guys killed it. That was so great."
And in episode 6, we had Handle with Caribbean. We had Kate Cleary, Kalita Hull, and Rachel Lodge Corey discuss the unique challenges and highlight key differences in Caribbean trademark practices and share career insights and successes. For this episode, I remember having a lot of connection issues, but just like kind of the theme of the whole episode was that showing the resiliency, like we didn't give up, and it actually came out really well at the end. So that was the one thing I really remember from that episode.
That and the amount of time you almost certainly spent editing to get out all of the breaks in communication and things where somebody couldn't hear the person asking the questions, and probably nobody from the studio audience knows or nobody who listened on the podcast knows how much work you put into that. But those of us who were there know that that was so much work to make that as smooth as it sounded for all of our podcast listeners.
I just remember behind the scenes, I was not there for that episode, but I got many text messages from the team of, oh my goodness, what is going on?
That's right. And you can't tell by watching or listening to this episode, but I forgot that I was actually relaying the questions, I think from Kara to Kate and Kate to Kara. So I'm like, okay, Kate, Kara just asked XYZ, and Kate, here's the response to Kara's question. That was hilarious.
It was insane. We made it work, and somehow the magical Jernez made it not sound chaotic.
That's right.
But basically, if you take anything from this overview of all of the episodes to date, it's that Jernez is incredible, and this could not succeed without Jernez. Yeah, yes, take the spotlight. I love it. I hope we're keeping that part.
Yes, we definitely are. So here's a clip from episode 6.
The TMAs that I work with constantly, I mean, sometimes I don't even realize how many things they have anticipated for me, and they're already executing before I even say to them that I need this done or I need that done. It's like I was doing it already. I'm working on it already. And so it's wonderful to see more and more recognition being given in that way, and I look forward to how it continues to grow from here.
All right, well, coming off of that into episode 7, we went into the TMA brain, where Jernez and I came out from behind the scenes, and we're in the hot seats for this episode, where we chatted to Emily and Rosa Jimenez, who jumped in as a guest host for us to discuss our career journeys, productivity hacks, building momentum in the TMA space, and what it really meant to think like a TMA. This was fun, although I feel like Jernez and I like to be behind the scenes for the most part. It was a fun episode, and I really enjoyed kind of just talking about our journeys and the similarities and the differences and the things that, how we get our jobs done and where we've been. It was fun.
That's right. This is the one where we had guest co-host Rosa Jimenez, and it was a great episode because Jernez and Tracy shared the TMA brain and how they deal with things and use their TMA brain every day. It was quite an episode. There was one part where I think we called out how sometimes the asker doesn't know what they're really asking. That was cool.
Yeah, that was we talked about some really good stuff, and even we all ended up doing an air horn in the middle of that episode, despite me even saying that I never would do it. So Jernez happily shared that with everyone in the end. And here's that clip from that episode.
I can't forget the co-directing the into TMA certificate program beginner course with Emily, and now that's like our trademark sound, really.
That was impressive air horn done by
I was
yourself.
afraid to do it. I was like, how am I going to do this?
Good job. Again, the TMA brain doing its thing. Just kidding.
I don't know how to make the sound.
Perfect.
Yes.
Oh, please.
No, I just can't wait for the compilation of everyone going. Burr, burr, burr. Oh shoot! Now I just did it.
Yeah.
There it is.
In episode 8, titled Cause and Affection, we had Laura Eccles, Shama Elliott, and Kristen Pavinci discuss their passion projects, how they're giving back, driving change, and making an impact beyond their day-to-day TMA roles. So this episode, I actually got to guest host, which despite all of the, accolades you were giving me about doing so much work behind the scenes, editing, hosting is serious business. But I don't, so much respect to Em and Kara for doing it, because it was so nerve-wracking, and like you have to, really kind of pay attention and kind of follow up and not just listen, but like also add to it. So that was really hard, but it was in a way, it was also easy at the end, because hearing about their passion projects was just like an amazing thing. So so that's what I remember about this episode.
It was a really inspiring episode, and you did an incredible job as guest host.
You did. And I want to say, Laura has, since that episode, joined my team at Alt Legal. And so it, I knew Laura before that, but having her start and thinking about her little pig sanctuary, and her kind of nerding out on her pigs, it just made me have even more affection than I otherwise would have for her, which I think is a thing that happens when you know people better. But I loved it, loved hearing about it.
And I'll just add that Shama is actually, we're ending the term now, but Shama is actually on the TMA committee, Intis TMA committee. So we know her really well. She's amazing. And I've actually been on Kristen's retreat before, and that was lovely.
Yeah, so I've worked, Shama spoke at Alt Legal and Core Search Live a couple of years ago, and she did a phenomenal job. I met her through that. I absolutely adore her. And Kristen, I worked with on a speaking project too. So yes, all of those women, absolutely love and respect them. And it was fabulous to hear all about their passion projects and what they're interested in, and what what makes them not just TMAs but entire people, I think is fascinating.
And here's a quick clip from episode 8.
I want to say first, it definitely has to be a passion project if you want to phrase it that way. And I know that's like a cliche thing that people say, but it really has to resonate with you in a way where you would say that even if I was dog tired, I would still do it. And balancing our busy careers, that's super important because it gets so stressful. Sometimes you think, oh, I could just leave that alone. That's just a passion project. But you have to look at it that way. And in my case, I work with kids, so I hold myself the utmost accountable, even when I'm so tired. I have to go after work, go teach them. And they don't care if I'm tired. Like, they're like, you're here. And they're like so happy to see you. And they're like, you're here, so let's do it, and it just re-energizes you in a way, like, just have to do it. And just being accountable, just make sure it's a passion project and you owe yourself, you want to be accountable for it, and then show up and do it.
All right, in episode 9, titled Markademia, this was our fun back to school episode. Bree jumped in as a guest host with Emily, where we chatted to Tara Dressler and Professor Michelle Miller to discuss why trademark protection matters in university settings and how schools are preparing the next generation of IP professionals.
So as a former academic myself, not legal, but I taught for a long time before I came to All Legal. This was one that's it's close to my heart. I'm the head of education at All Legal, but Michelle's story was one that had fascinated me. So I kind of brought her to the team. So like, oh my God, you guys, did you know that she does this thing? And as far as I know, she might be the only one who not only does she run the clinic, but she runs the clinic that is her practice and brought her practice into the clinic and vice versa. I'm not aware of other universities that do things in that particular way. So it was super fascinating. And then hearing from Tara about all of the fun work that she does there at the university was fabulous. I loved that episode, and had a blast co-hosting or guest hosting. So thank you for the invite there.
Wasn't that the episode where also Michelle like came in late. Like talk about cool under pressure, because literally the fire alarm was going off in their building at the school like 5 minutes before we're supposed to record. And so I remember she like sent me a message, oh, I'm gonna be a little late. And we're like, okay. And I'm like, what happened? She's like, oh, the fire alarm was going off. We all had to evacuate the building. And then she came back just cool as a cucumber, like ready to go. It was great.
Yeah, that surprises me zero. That's just the kind of person I think she is. Very cool under pressure. But yeah, it was fascinating.
And here's a quick clip from episode 9.
So you have all of these unique identities, and protecting those brands as identifiers is just so important so that, people don't mix them up, right? You don't want people thinking that Denver is Boulder or Boulder is Colorado Springs or that there aren't 4 campuses, which there truly are. So I think protecting those identities and really celebrating the fact that each of them is so unique in their own way. And then also coming back to, but we all, at the end of the day, we're all CU. So I think that those play a crucial role in shaping each campus identity, and as well as the, how the community perceives each campus, and then all tying it all together under the CU umbrella.
Episode 10 was a spooky one. It was called All Rights Reserved. We had Francesca Witzberg and Tamara Rabinold chat about scary anti-counterfeiting and squatters within the IP world. So I love the spooky Halloween theme for this one. Especially I love the trick or treat segment, and also of course Tamara's answer to the strangest counterfeit good. That was really a fun thing to hear, just because I've never heard of that before. And if you haven't heard it, go back and listen to that episode. Yeah, I really liked Kara's reaction to that one because it was just like shock, but also like, what? When I listened to that episode, your reaction, Kara, was hilarious. It made me laugh because it was calm yet so shocked.
That's funny. Yeah, I was back for that one. It was definitely a good one. That was definitely a highlight. That little fun fact. But yeah, it was just interesting too and practical, I thought. They talked a lot about how counterfeiting was evolving, how targets have shifted. And it did fit with our themes, like how collaboration is key to kind of fight these counterfeiters. And I think the quote they used too is building the plane mid-flight. So kind of the old playbook, if you will, doesn't work anymore. You kind of just got to be fluid. And they had a lot of practical tips too. I think there was like a few minimal things at a minimum we should all be doing. But yeah, it was a good one.
And here's a clip from that episode.
It feels like at times like you're in war and your client is being attacked and the brand is being attacked. And so how I literally think, okay, as an army general, we can't just react. We can't just go out there. There needs to be strategy. We're trained professionals. So having a strategy, figuring out what IP we can file to protect the client's product, not just like Tamara was saying, they'll remove the word. So it's even, I think what's happening now is they've gotten smarter. It's not just counterfeiting where they're copying the trademark and the product. They're taking off the product name and they're trying to change just something a little bit to fall into that dupe category. So I think like the dupes is the spookiest of all the categories. And we have to stop and think, how can we get really creative and protect the client's product so that when we go out and fight, we can actually get some wins and be really strategic and test to see what works and then double down on what works.
Yeah. Ooh. Heading into our final episode of the year, History in the Making for episode 11, we spotlighted Catherine Healy and Mariana Noli, where we explored their pivotal career moments, challenges, and how the workplace is evolving for women in the IP field. These two were really inspiring women in the IP industry. It was a really good way to round out the year for us. I don't know, what do you all think?
Well, I don't know about you all, but I was pumped up. They were pumping me up. I was really inspired. And, I think at one point in the episode, I was like, those are fighting words, man. Let's go. It was very inspirational. Those are some strong women there, and their career stories are amazing.
Yeah, I was really intrigued by listening to Catherine talk about how she started at Caribbean IP and how she acquired the firm. Like there's obviously part of me that's like, how come you have a firm called Caribbean IP and you're in Florida, right? But like hearing her talk about that and how the firm came about and how she came to have the role she did, I thought was super interesting.
Yeah, I think we were talking about a marathon also in that one, right? And kind of how
Yes.
the experience is kind of similar to a marathon, right? Like endurance, resilience, and just kind of everything it takes to pace yourself and kind of build your career, especially as a woman in IP. So I agree. I think this one was really inspiring and a powerful episode.
All right, and here's a quick clip from the episode.
I have to say, many times at the beginning of the firm, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And one of my current paralegals said, I believe in us. We can do this. So I have to say this. And that meant a lot to me because it wasn't just me. I wasn't just doing it for me and my ego. My law firm has my name. There is a lot of that went with making my father proud but on the other hand, I did it for the people that did believe in this. And I still do it because it's not you create a law firm and you're done. It's every day. You have to wake up, you have to work hard, you have to hustle.
I just want to take a moment to acknowledge and recognize all of our admin inspirations for the year. So very, very briefly, each guest that we have come on, we ask them who is an administrator that they work with that they think is really fabulous, either an administrator or an administrator ally. And each guest then nominates somebody that they think is particularly amazing that's in the TMA community or a TMA ally. And so all of them are fabulous and wonderful, and they are, as you would imagine from the title, inspirations for all of us. They are the admin-spirations for everyone.
So looking ahead, I hope that year 2 is just going to be about deepening the connections, just continuing to spotlight more voices from across the trademark community. Again, demonstrating our themes of community and collaboration, and just continuing to create space for collaboration and learning. And we'd like to hear from our followers as well. What topics do you want to see in year 2? Any guest suggestions? Please reach out. After all, we are building and growing this community together.
As we wrap up this final episode of 2025, we just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you to every listener, every supporter, every voice that joined us, challenged us, laughed with us, and grew with us this year. From all of us here at the TMA Talk Show podcast, Happy New Year. Stay safe, stay blessed, and we'll see you in 2026. And remember, this was made by TMAs for TMAs.
The TMA Talk Show is a production of Alt Legal and the Trademark Administrators Exchange. And before we go, a big thanks to our amazing team. Content producer, Tracy Cook. Chief editor, Jernez Owens. Editorial producer, Bree Van Thiel. Social media manager, Sam Hands. And original music by Sunny St. John. This was made by TMAs for TMAs. Until next time, stay inspired, stay curious, and always keep transforming your tomorrow.